The sun was setting over the jungle of Varian, casting long shadows across the Terran settlement of Synthar. The bustling colony, home to survivors of Earth's destruction, was alive with the sounds of workers finishing their day and traders hawking exotic goods from far-off worlds. Amidst this activity, a group of mercenaries stood in the local tavern, boasting loudly. They were an impressive group, tall and strong, their bodies marked by scars and tattoos from years of dangerous work. Their faces were hardened by battles fought on distant planets, and their eyes glinted with pride. They were known across the galaxy as some of the toughest warriors in the universe, and their latest mission had brought them to Varian to share their stories. "They said you survived Earth's predators?" one of the mercenaries asked, his voice full of challenge. "Tigers, bears, sharks? Yeah, we've all seen them. But we've faced things far worse than anything Earth could throw at us." The others nodded in agreement, slapping each other on the back and grinning. "There's nothing out here in the wilds of Varian we haven't handled," another mercenary added. "Predators? We've got plenty of those too. None of them even come close to what we fought back home." The locals around them watched with a mix of curiosity and amusement. Dr. Lara Vance, a biologist and the lead researcher of the Terran expedition to Varian, sat quietly at a corner table sipping her drink. She had heard these kinds of boasts before. Outsiders always claimed to have conquered the wilds of their homeworlds. But Lara wasn't impressed. She had spent years studying the most dangerous creatures of Earth and Varian. She knew what truly made a predator. One of the mercenaries, a tall man with dark hair and a scar running across his cheek, caught Lara's eye. He walked over to her, his voice dripping with cockiness. "Hey, Doc," he said with a smirk. "You're a biologist, right? What do you think about what we've survived? I'm sure you've read about Earth's apex predators. Sharks, lions, crocodiles. I bet you've never faced anything like that, huh?" Lara didn't respond immediately. She took another sip of her drink and then set the glass down with deliberate slowness. Her eyes never left his, a calm smile playing at the edges of her lips. "You think you've faced Earth's predators?" she asked softly, but her voice held a challenge. "Then you've only met the tame ones." The mercenary's smirk faltered. The others in the bar fell quiet. Lara's words hung in the air, sharp and strange. The man raised an eyebrow. "Tame?" he repeated, his tone mocking. "Lady, we've survived the most dangerous creatures Earth ever produced. I'm pretty sure we can handle whatever's out here." Lara's smile widened just slightly. She stood up, her movements graceful and confident. "Follow me," she said, her voice calm but firm. "I'll show you what a real predator looks like. The kind you've never seen before." The mercenaries exchanged uneasy glances. They were confident in their abilities, sure that no creature on Varian could be more dangerous than those they'd faced on Earth. But Lara's words piqued their curiosity. They didn't know whether to laugh or be insulted, but they followed her out of the tavern, eager to prove her wrong. The jungle surrounding Synthar was dense and alive with movement. The air was thick with humidity, and strange calls of unknown creatures echoed through the trees. Lara led the mercenaries through the undergrowth, her pace steady and purposeful. She didn't speak much as she guided them deeper into the jungle, but the mercenaries were growing more and more confident, feeling that they had seen it all. As they moved deeper into the jungle, they encountered a variety of creatures, giant lizards with scales that shimmered in the sunlight, large insectoid predators that stalked through the tall grass, and alien carnivores with fangs as long as a man's arm. The mercenaries were quick to draw their weapons and dispatch each one, showing off their skill with energy rifles and blades. "This is nothing," one of the mercenaries said with a laugh, wiping sweat from his brow. "You should have seen what we fought on Earth. These things don't even compare." Lara remained silent, watching them work. She wasn't surprised. The creatures of Varian, though dangerous, were still relatively tame compared to what Earth's predators could be. But that wasn't the point. She had something far more terrifying in mind for them. After several hours of trekking through the jungle, Lara stopped at a clearing. The mercenaries gathered around her, looking at her expectantly. "Is this it?" the mercenary with the scar asked. "Is this where the real challenge begins?" Lara gave a small nod. "This is where you'll learn that not all predators rely on brute strength." Just as she spoke, the air seemed to shift. A low growl echoed through the clearing. It wasn't the sound of a beast preparing to pounce, but something far more unsettling, intelligent. The ground beneath their feet seemed to tremble. A shadow darted across the trees, too fast to see clearly. The mercenaries raised their weapons, scanning the surroundings. But whatever it was too quick. Lara motioned for them to lower their weapons. "You don't need those," she said calmly. "What you need is to think." The growl grew louder, more insistent. It wasn't coming from one direction. It was coming from all around them. The mercenaries' eyes darted from tree to tree, trying to pinpoint the source of the sound. Something was closing in on them, but they couldn't see it. They were surrounded. "That's impossible," one of the mercenaries muttered, his grip tightening on his rifle. "There's no way this thing is moving this fast." Lara's eyes narrowed, and she tilted her head slightly as if listening to something only she could hear. Then she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "You're not dealing with a predator of muscle or teeth. You're dealing with something far more dangerous." The growl grew louder, and then from the shadows something emerged, a shape that defied all logic. It wasn't large or bulky, but it was deadly. It moved silently through the trees, its glowing eyes fixed on the group. The creature was covered in sleek, dark fur that blended with the shadows, its body elongated and fluid, with limbs that moved in ways no human could replicate. The creature wasn't just an animal. It was intelligent, capable of understanding its prey and using the environment to its advantage. The mercenaries raised their rifles, but the creature didn't charge. Instead, it circled them, its eyes flicking from one mercenary to the next. This isn't possible," one of the mercenaries stammered, his voice trembling. "What is this thing?" Lara took a step forward, her gaze fixed on the creature. "This is a T'Krane," she said calmly. "A predator of the mind. It doesn't hunt with claws or teeth. It hunts with your fear." The creature let out a low, almost melodic growl, and suddenly the mercenaries were overcome with a sense of dread. Fear, deep and primal, gripped their hearts. Their minds began to race, their thoughts clouded with images of their worst nightmares. The jungle around them seemed to warp, shifting in strange, terrifying ways. Lara stepped back slowly, her face calm. She wasn't afraid. She had seen this before. The mercenaries, however, were not prepared. They stumbled back, their weapons shaking in their hands, unable to focus as their deepest fears consumed them. "This is just the beginning," Lara said softly, turning to leave. "If you want to survive, you'll need more than just weapons." And with that, she led the group into the heart of the jungle, leaving the mercenaries to face the true predators of Varian.